Ready, sexy? 3, 2, and I love you. Good. We're back. We're back, you motherfucking sons of bitch bean mafia people. Another episode of Spoil the Beans. We have a beautiful, perfect special guest who's always perfect and always beautiful and always right. Samantha Lee Lopez, everybody.
Those are my credits. Thank you.
Those are our credits.
Perfect. Always beautiful, always right.
How you feeling today, beautiful?
I'm feeling more beautiful, more right, and more perfect than ever.
Well, aren't I in for a lucky night? Samantha Lee, I'm so excited to have you on today.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure the Bean Mafia is excited to be back. You guys know what episode it is. You see the fucking thumbnail. But more importantly, guys, I've been doing some stuff. Go check out Your Mom's House Studios, Your Mom's House Productions, and you can see your boy on the latest Danny Brown episode. I was on the Danny Brown podcast. Day after Thanksgiving, I am on the Dr. Drew podcast. You'll see that episode come out. I just did it today, so you guys will see that. So that's fucking awesome. So yeah, check those things out and follow Samantha Lopez if you don't follow her. At Best Sam Lopez. If you don't follow her, fucking do it. Sam, is there anything you'd like to say before we get started about Kanye and the Jews?
I think it's all been said. Kanye kind of covered it all.
He kind of did, didn't he?
Yeah.
He kind of covered it all.
I don't even know what he said, but everything that I heard, I agreed with.
Samantha! Samantha Lee.
Actually, I don't know what he said. I knew he said some anti-Semitic things, but I don't actually. Why did that come up? What was the interview about?
He said they own all the banks and the media.
Yeah, but he said that before.
I mean, by he, do you mean everyone?
I mean, yes. I mean, of course. Everyone said that before.
Well, I mean, what's weird is like he said that, and then they got him out of the banks and off media.
Yeah, that's really weird.
It's like, well, it is weird. I'm not saying he's right and that you guys do own all the banks and you run all the media, but I would say you guys run a lot of banks and you guys own a lot of the media companies, and it's like, is that crazy? It's like saying, to me, that's like saying, a lot of people who play for the Chargers are a certain race.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. That's why people are mad, because there's plenty of Jewish people who don't own banks or the media, and I think they're the ones that are mad. They're the ones that are really mad because they're upset they don't get that perk.
Well, and a guy talked like this a long time ago and some really bad stuff happened.
Well, yeah, that too.
There's that
that's
too,
a good
Sam.
point.
There's a wound there.
Was he saying that they own the media, though?
Yeah, that's literally what he was saying.
He was
saying
like, they run TikTok.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, we know who runs TikTok. Hey, we know who runs fucking TikTok.
Yeah, I do think it's
the Jews. No, yeah. No, but it is interesting. That is interesting because I don't see. It is weird that that's such a controversial statement. I don't understand why that's such a controversial
someone said to you that all black people play basketball, you would be like, that's not true.
But I would understand what they meant.
Yeah, you would.
Right?
Yes, I know.
Sam, if somebody said to you, oh my God, everyone in the WNBA is a lesbian. Is that true?
I don't know. It could be, though.
So you see my saying, because you know that there's probably a lot of. Now, are there some straight women in the WNBA?
100%.
Obviously. But are there a lot of fucking lesbian women too? Like, that's the point.
Because I know plenty of Jewish people who don't run the
media. Jeffrey Turner, who's been on this podcast.
Or run banks.
Yeah.
Actually, literally every Jewish person I personally know doesn't run the media or the banks. I can attest to that.
That's true. Every Jewish person. I mean, I haven't met all the Jewish people you know.
But all the ones I've personally met.
Yeah. Though, you know what's funny? I've met people who run the banks. SunTrust Bank, I met the owner of that because his kid went to Christian Brothers.
Was he Jewish?
Huh? No, it's just a regular white kid.
Oh, so now the white kids are the regular ones, Deric?
No. I mean, like his last name was not Shervowitz. It was Paul.
Oh.
See what I'm saying?
I guess so.
What is Paul?
Paul could be Jewish.
I thought it was just really Paul. That's Jewish. Is that not Irish?
Well, Paul. The name Paul comes from the Bible, the Hebrew Bible. Saul Paul.
Huh. I didn't know his last name, like that Jewish last name. Maybe
it could be.
I went over his house.
I don't know.
He definitely
That's
wasn't.
A good question.
If they were Jewish, none of his parents and he did not practice in any way, shape, or form.
Interesting.
So that's why I'm like.
Well, that's kind of like most Jewish people I know.
No, you're not hearing me. They weren't Jewish.
Okay, yeah, I know they weren't.
Yeah. They clearly. I know what a fucking Jew when I see one. I hate them. I didn't hate these people. No.
I also know someone whose last name is Paul, and
they're not Jewish, are they?
She's black. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. See, I don't know why we're pretending like Paul's a Jewish. You know what I mean? It's not.
I'm just saying.
How about this? It's not a common Jewish name. Can I say that?
Yeah,
can I say
it's
that,
not
Sam?
Goldman Sachs.
Thank you. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. You know what I was getting at. But that's the only person I've ever met who owned a bank, and he was 100% clearly not Jewish.
It's cool that he owned a bank, though.
Yeah, they were really rich. This is the kid I told you that he got $100 every time he watered his. There was a kid in my high school. He told me.
What a life.
I asked what his chores were one day when I was hanging out at his house because I would go hang at his house all the time, and it was this beautiful mansion. And he said that his parents gave him $100 every time he watered the garden. And he'd do it a couple times, like he said. He was supposed to do it every day. He did it like a couple times a week, pretty much. And yeah, $100 every time, like clockwork. So he was making maybe almost $1,000 a week every week for who knows how long. You know what I mean?
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of fucking money, dude. That's a lot of fucking money.
That's a lot of
I
money.
don't know. This is what's crazy. If we were rich like that, are we going to do that to our kids?
No.
You know what's funny though? Sam, he was extremely well adjusted and like a really good guy. Good kid. Like he never got, like he wasn't like a bad guy, didn't get in trouble, had great grades. You know what I mean? He was one of those. He was pretty well adjusted.
Was $100 available to him in full to do with it as he pleases?
Yeah, he just had a lot of money in his bank account, yeah. He had a big truck.
Wow.
Like, like these rich kids, they have trucks. He was one of those kind of kids, he had a truck.
Dude, these UT kids with their trucks.
Yeah. But you're answering my question. If we have kids and we are wealthy like that, like we plan on being, will we give them access to money like that? Because you know what else though? His view, he probably was raised differently than money. Like he knew money. Does that make sense? I think he grew up knowing money more than if we are broke selves and then we just let our kids be broke.
I don't know anything about money, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And then we just give our kids money like that. Well, I don't think that would work out well.
No.
So I guess, would you be willing to give our kids money if we do teach them about money?
Yeah, but I think I would also have to learn about money.
Me too. I'd have to learn about money. So it's like, that's going to be impossible. But then again, luckily we'll have that. Hopefully we'll have money by the time we have babies. So that little whole baby period, we can learn about money.
Oh, you mean
like the whole period before they're not, like before they start learning stuff.
Yeah.
Which comes fast. I heard it comes faster than you think.
Yeah,
when they start picking shit up.
3 years.
3 years old is when they start picking up shit that you're doing?
No, I think they say 3 years. It's like, that's when they start being like a person.
That's what I'm saying. They start picking up, mimicking you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess they're probably mimicking you like.
They're definitely mimicking you
the whole time. Because when they say when babies are doing like they're trying to talk.
I used to dress up one of the babies I nannied for like her mom sometimes and send her pictures, and the baby would immediately like kind of like hit the poses her mom would in a picture.
Of course, that makes all the sense.
You're just a little
version of
you're
your
just a
genetic
genetic version. Copy.
That's what Dr. Drew told me. But I'm not going to spoil it. I was going to say what he said, but I'm not going to spoil it. Go watch that Dr. Drew episode.
Yeah, this isn't the spoiled Dr. Drew.
Yeah, this isn't a spoiled Dr. Drew. But he did tell me something very interesting about, and I told you earlier, about genetics and your environment, and it was very cool. So watch that episode, and he like breaks it down for me.
Deric needs stuff broken down.
I mean, you would have...
Break it down!
You would have got to break it down. Oh, wow, that was racist. Sam was being racist. Y'all saw that?
That wasn't racist.
Sam was being racist. Y'all saw
that?
You
made it racist.
But why? I made it racist when you were being racist and I called it out. So, yeah.
I was just singing a song. I was more making fun of you for being stupid. But now you want to be... you want to apply your stupidity to the rest of us, one specific race. I guess I'm the racist person.
She really is. You guys should see the things.
You don't even know which race I was implying was stupid. You're too racist.
That's true. That is true. You ready for the movie?
Yeah, I guess if I'm going to do it with this racist podcast.
You're racist.
Who, me?
I know you can't be right. Yeah, though you know what's funny, because you are beautiful and more perfect every day. Every second goes on.
Thank you.
You become more perfect. So
thank you, Deric.
Your perfection makes racism perfect.
You know,
if you're being racist, you're doing it in the most perfect way. So it's not even racist.
I mean, it is racism.
It's not when it's perfect.
When it's perfect and it's
accurate.
It's accurate. Yes, that's true.
It's just a bullseye. Sam, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to do this episode for you because you are going to flip the fuck out.
Okay.
I feel like this episode, you know what? We'll just discuss as we go along. Are you ready?
Yeah, I think we should just do it. Go for it. Full on.
Samantha Lee Lopez.
Deric Allen Poston.
Movie starts. Loading screen. Black Mirror.
Oh, it's one of those.
We see a little car pull up into a gas station. No, it's late night.
This always upset me.
It's raining super hard.
How do you do this to me?
We see a guy in another car. All right, he's sitting in his car and he's scrolling through his phone. And he's watching the news and he's seeing how there's like this breakthrough on the news of like super advanced technology that they're like, you know, Black Mirror shit.
Yeah.
And his girl's outside the window and she's like, Ash. And she knocks on the window.
They're British, of course.
Huh?
They're British.
They're always British.
They're always
and
British.
He's like, oh shit. And he opens the door for his girl. And she's like, put your phone. Like she gets kind of mad at him and makes him put his phone in the glove box. Like, you know, you're always on your fucking phone. Stop it. You know what I mean? So, cut to now they're back. They're on a road trip. Clearly, like there was a gas station middle of nowhere, and they're singing, "If I can't have you, I don't want nobody, baby. If I can't have you, And the song fades out, and then the next song starts, and it's Boogie Nights, Boogie Nights, and he cuts it down, right? Boogie Nights, and he's like, oh, no, I draw the line at disco. And then she's like, well, what was that then? And he goes, with the Bee Gees. Everyone just likes the Bee Gees. That's not disco. And then she's like, oh, so you love the Bee Gees? He goes, yeah. Well, and she goes, we've been together for like forever now, like 7 or 11 years, and you've never brought up once that you love the fucking Bee Gees. And he goes, How Deep Is Your Love is my favorite song.
How deep is your love?
Yeah, and she's like, no, it's not. He goes, How deep is your love? And he starts singing it, right? And she's like, oh my God. She goes, Ash, I will crash this van, right? Like they're laughing.
Mm-hmm.
The episode title, Be Right Back.
He's not going to be right back.
Sam, you ready for this?
I never am.
They get to their place. They get to their new house, right? They walk inside. They start bringing their stuff, moving like all their shit in. They're moving clearly, okay? He walks up to a wall. There's a picture of himself there as a kid. You can realize like, oh, this was his childhood home that they're moving into, okay? And he's looking at it, and he's kind of like just smiling, and then he takes a picture of it, like he takes a picture of it.
Picture of the picture.
Yeah. And he starts he posts it, and he starts like going through all the likes in the comments. You know, he's just addicted to his phone. And she's so annoyed with him. She's like, oh my God, what are you doing? And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, I saw this picture. He's like, I had to post it. And then she's like, why? And he was like, oh, it was just like the worst day of my life. And this is the memory I have of it. And she goes, what? He's like, well, we'd gone to Safari Park that day, and it was the first family outing we had since Jack died. You can tell Jack was his brother. Okay? Mm-hmm. And there were monkeys all over our car at one point, I remember, and no one said anything. Nothing, just silence. And the next morning, we got back home, and old Jack's photos were gone from the wall. She had moved them upstairs, put them in the attic. And then a little later, Dad died. And I remember out went all his photos, until all that was left is this one little photo of our own boy with this fake smile on this horrible day.
Oh,
right?
That's depressing.
Yeah, and then she's like, damn, well, your mom didn't know it was fake. And he's like, kind of makes it worse. And then he puts it back and walks off. And you see, she's like, she feels bad, like, damn, like he's going, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's going through some shit here. Cut to them upstairs, they're fucking. Mm-hmm. He's fucking the shit out of her. And they're having good sex, but he comes fast. All right? And he's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, it's okay, it's all right. He goes, you want me to eat you out? And then she's like, she starts kind of thinking about it. And he goes, I'm a little knackered, though. I'm not going to lie. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. He goes, you sure? She's like, yeah, I'm sure. I love you. And he's like, I love you, too. And then he rolls off, and he kind of passes out. And you see her kind of, like, look off into the distance.
Yeah.
Okay? Sam, why are you looking nervous?
This is when the bad thing happens.
The next morning, he gets dressed, and he's like, honey, so he says we have to get the van back by 2 today, or else they're going to like start charging us extra. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, babe, but work just came in. It's a full page. We kind of need the money. I have to do it. And he's like, no, it's all right. It's all fine. I'll just drive all the way back alone, pick the car up alone, drive back alone. And then she's like, don't make me feel bad. Like, I have to make my own lunch today. And he goes, oh, you're breaking my heart. And then they both laugh. Uh-huh. And he's like, all right, bye-bye. Oh, and he gives her a little kiss. You're British. Ha, 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 ha. Gives her a little kiss on the forehead. And he pulls off and he leaves. She gets to work. All right? We see her working. It's really cool. It's an art board, right? Like, like how a painter would have a canvas. But it's digital. Uh-huh. But Sam, it's still a canvas. So it's like this big digital cool canvas that looks, and it has all the, and like she's dipping the paints, but it's all digital. Ooh, does that make sense? So it's like cool. Really cool. It's like, whoa. It's like, damn, I bet they have that in real life. Seems like something they would have now. Does that make sense?
It does.
But it was like, so, like it was so like, damn, it's like, why wouldn't they design it like that? So if you're an artist, you feel like, first of all the things are right in front of you, and it looks like how it would in real life. Yeah. So it's like, damn. She's working on her designs. The day passes. You see kind of the sun move in the sky. She's working. She checks her phone. No phone calls, no texts. She calls Ash. She doesn't answer. She kind of thinks about it and then, puts her phone down, goes back to work. Night comes. Now she's a little more, like, You just see it. She's a little more like, what the fuck? She's checking her phone. Nothing. She calls the moving company and find out. And it's like night now. Remember, he was supposed to be done by, he's supposed to have it back by 2.
Yeah.
The company says the van hasn't been returned yet.
Ooh, we never made it.
She hangs up. Now she's nervous.
Yeah.
All right. She calls her sister. She's crying, freaking out. Something happened. She's like, sweetheart, nothing happened. Come on. You know he's just stuck with no reception. Think about all the, there's probably ran out of gas, flat tire. There's a million things. Like, relax, breathe. You know, and she's like, no, I know something happened. And right then she gets a knock at the door. She opens the door. It's police and a fireman. And they both have that right. And she's like, she drops the phone. She slams the door.
Yeah.
Fade to black. Cut back to, she's in the back of a car driving to the reception after a funeral.
Jesus.
See, and they got really good actors too. So this shit is like, you feel it, because I'm like, the whole time I was thinking about it, it's like, damn, bro. I couldn't imagine if I just lost, like, it's just on some, because that's how it be though. Then you just be like, all right, see you tomorrow, like some shit like that, and you don't see them tomorrow. And that's just it. So she's just, Sam, obviously, she's like, just looking in the distance. She's just gone. She's just not even, right? And they get to the reception, she sits down, and one of her friends comes and sits by her, right? And it's quiet for a second, and then the friend goes, it feels like it's not real, isn't it? She goes, I remember at Mark's wake. Didn't feel real. None of it. None of the people felt real. The service didn't feel real. He didn't feel real. It was like a spacewalk. And then our girl, she goes, Sarah. And the other girl like shuts up, right? And then it's quiet for a second. And then the other friend goes, you know, I can sign you up for something. Something that helps. Help me. And then she kind of looks at her and she's like, it's not a spiritual thing. I mean, look, I know Ash was a heavy user and it's still in beta, but it works and I can get it to you. She goes, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up! Right? She screamed and everybody kind of looks at her and she just storms off. Okay? She gets back to her empty house. She's fucked up. She's like painting at one point, like painting the walls. It's like the days have gone by and she sees, remember he grew up at the house.
Yeah.
And she comes across like him and his brother Jack's like markings.
Oh,
so, you know what I mean? On,
yeah,
like,
they're like how tall they are.
Yeah, and that shit fucked me up. Like if she breaks that, like almost like falls. You know. So she goes upstairs and she's looking at. She goes upstairs to the attic and she starts finding all the old photos of him. Remember, because her mom like all these old photos of his brother, his family.
Yeah. And
then more days go by. She's fixing up the house. She's drinking wine. You know, she starts throwing up a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. She sees the email at one night that her friend Sarah sent her. And all it says is, I signed you up. She kind of scrolls, like just doesn't ignore it.
Yeah.
Keeps checking her emails. As she does that, bloop, she gets a new email from Ash.
Oh, okay.
Hey, it's me. ... Yes, the real me. She sees it, deletes it, freaks out. She calls her friend. This hurts. They used his name, for God's sakes. They used his real fucking name. What's wrong with you? And she goes, I know, honey. That's why I signed you up. Just click the link and talk to it. It's all right. She goes, he's dead. Ash is dead. It's just software. She goes, I know it's software, but it mimics him. It goes back and reads everything that they've ever said online, ever. Saying this is what the technology is. Reads everything you've ever said online. And then all I had to do was just give Ash all that information, the name, and the system kind of does the rest, and it makes the person. She goes, this is sick. She goes, honey, just say hello. You'll like it. And if you really like it, give it access to his private emails. The more it has, the more it's him. And she goes, but it won't be him. She goes, no, I know, sweetie. But it helps. And she hangs up.
Does it help?
Oh, Sam, we're about to find out. Cut to her working the next day, right? She throws up again.
Oh. Yeah. She's pregnant?
Sam, she throws up again. She freaks out, does a pregnancy test. She's pregnant.
Yeah.
The absolute worst situation that possibly could exist.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. I mean, it's not the worst situation that could exist.
I mean, bro, I can't imagine
ideal.
if I died and then you found out you was pregnant. I couldn't have, or you know
what
I mean?
if I died giving birth?
I would be the same feeling.
I feel like that would be worse.
Man, well, yeah, because I would be there with you, so to see you die would be wow. I can't. I'm not Viserys level.
Also,
yet.
in that situation, I'm the one that's dead.
Huh?
I have to die in that situation.
Oh, yeah, this situation, I die.
Yeah, both are bad.
Yeah, they both suck, dude.
What if we just both die?
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, together.
So
Like The Notebook.
she calls her sister crying.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen The Notebook.
Oh, I don't think they actually die.
She calls her sister crying, but the line's been like, and she doesn't answer. She's busy. She freaks out even more. Like, you know what I mean? She has nobody to talk to. She stares at the laptop, and then she runs over to it.
Uh-huh.
She hits that email, the Ash one, and it says touch to talk. And she touches the screen, and it's like starts loading up. Doot, 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 doot. And she's just sitting there, right? And then finally she gets a message. Hi, Martha. She's like, and then she writes, is that you? And then he writes back, no, it's Abraham Lincoln. And she laughs. And then he writes, of course it's me. And then she goes, she starts breathing hard, right? And she goes, I only came here to say one thing. And then he says, what thing? And she starts like bawling. And she's like, I'm pregnant, right? And then it's quiet. It's like just loading the loading screen for a little bit. And then it just says, wow. So I'll be a dad, ? And she like, you know what I mean? Like she just, it all comes out. And then he says, I wish I was there with you. And she just keeps like, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Which I couldn't imagine, bro. I wouldn't be able to talk to you like that.
Messed up.
It was and Sam, that's too much. I would be like, bro, I don't know if I'm supposed to be talking to her like this.
Well, it wouldn't be you. It would be AI.
But I'm putting all that on that AI now.
Yeah.
I'm putting all this I'm grieving, dude. I'm in the middle of it too. I'm in the middle of grieving. You just died. So, cut to her later that night. All right. Her sister calls back again. Her sister calls back. And she's like, yo, I'm sorry I missed your calls. Is everything okay? You know, what happened? And she's like, no, nothing. It's fine. I'm fine. She goes, sister's like, I'm coming to visit. I'm coming right now. And, you know, because sister's obviously like, worried. Like, I know what's going on. And she's like, no, don't. Please don't. And she goes, I promise I'm okay. I have a deadline. I got a lot of work. Please. And she's like, are you sure? She's like, I got to go. And she hangs up. She talks to Ash more. She just texts him. And then finally she's like, I wish I could speak to you. I mean, really speak. And then he goes, we can. She's like, how? And then he sends her like a little link, and there's like an upgrade. You know what I mean? And so she uploads everything personal ever. Every video she has of him on her phone, every copy of a video thing they have upstairs, like from his childhood.
Ooh,
everything. Sam, she has all this stuff. So she's able to give him like a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So they upload everything, okay? Every voicemail she has, so it's like, and every video of him speaking, so it's like all of how he speaks, all that shit.
Uh-huh.
And then she uploads everything.
This is a free program?
Huh? No, she's paying for this.
Oh.
It messages back, I'll call you when I'm ready. And then she's like, and then it's quiet. She chills for a minute. Finally, she gets a call from Ash on her phone, too. Like, from that number.
Yeah.
That would fuck me up, too.
Yeah.
And she answers, and obviously she's trembling. She's like, hello. And he's like, so, how am I sounding? He sounds just like himself, right?
Uh-huh.
And she's like, you sound just like, right? And then,
oh my gosh, this is too much.
He's like, this is creepy, isn't it? And she goes, by creepy, do you mean batshit crazy? I can talk to you. She goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, it is. I don't even have a mouth.
Huh.
And she laughs a little bit. And she starts crying. And she goes, that's. And he goes, what? And she's like, that's the sort of thing he would say, right? She's freak, like, it's fucking her up, bro.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I couldn't imagine that I'm talking to you as AI. But I couldn't even more imagine the AI saying some shit you do.
Yeah.
Then I'm like,
this is too real.
This is nigga.
This is too real.
This episode is one of the more scary episodes to me because it's something normally it's like stuff I wouldn't do. It's like, like when you're watching something, like, I would never do that. I would never do that. This is something
I might do.
If I was more, I don't know how I'm gonna be if you just died. I don't know how I'm gonna be.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then you have this opportunity to like kind of be in touch with them.
Just something. I'm alone in the house that we lived. I'm alone, bro. I couldn't
in
imagine.
The house you grew up
alone in this. I couldn't imagine being alone in this, let alone I'm at your place. Or you were like at my place in Memphis. You know what I mean?
That'd be too much.
It's too much. So she pauses and she goes, I think I'm going mad. And he goes, I won't tell anyone if you don't. And she kind of smiles. And she goes, you're not crying, are you? And she goes, yeah. She wipes her tears. She goes, you always said I looked weird when I cried. And you hear him laugh. And he's like, I sound like a sick right fuck. And they both like start laughing real hard. You know what I mean? Like she's like, oh my God, like this is my guy.
Yeah.
You know? Cut to her the next day. she's just walking like through this beautiful like how we walk, like through like a trail, and she's just on the phone, like with her headpiece. Sam, she's just
they're just talking.
Oh my! And she's telling them about every date they've ever had, and she's reminiscing about all these great moments. And you can tell she is just like, oh, and then you did this, and I was like, why would you, and about like, oh my God, right? They're just laughing, and then she says something else, and he goes, you speak to me like I'm not here, like I'm gone, and she goes, oh, I'm sorry, because she keeps saying you were, and you like past tense, and he goes, she's like, I'm sorry, it's okay. He's like, oh, it's okay. And he goes, well, I'm not really gone. I am still here. Weird. It's weird. Like, he even knows, like, because he's AI and he's learning. That would scare me, too, that he's, like, contemplating his own conscious.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, my God, it's so beautiful here. She's looking over this beautiful cliff. And he's like, show me what it looks like there. Can you use your phone? And then, like, he kind of, like, goes to, like, FaceTime. So now he can see what she's seeing, right?
Yeah.
And then she thinks about it. She goes, you were never impressed with views. You used to talk. I remember you talked shit about the Grand Canyon when we saw it. Just said it was a big hole. She laughs, and like she shows him this beautiful hillside, right? And then because he's AI, he says what the hillside's name and like what happened there in the past, like the history of it. And then it freaks her out. And then she goes, "Did you look that up?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I guess technically, yeah, I did." And he goes, "Oh, should I not have?" Because he realized like, oh, that he wouldn't know that.
Yeah. And
that's why she's like. And she goes, no, it's fine. He goes, I'm sorry. I will only do it again if you ask me. And she goes, no, it's fine. And you see, it's like the first time, and she's like, this isn't him. Yeah. Does that make sense?
But it's also a conscious being.
It's a conscious being, so it's fucking me up. But it's not him. He didn't know. Why he wouldn't know that? Yeah. How would he know that? So, cut to later. They're just talking. Back to the old times. She's so happy, right? Next day, she goes to the doctor. Here's the baby's heartbeat in her stomach. She asks the doctor, can I record it? And she's like, oh, of course, right? So she records it. So you see her leaving, and she's playing it for Ash over the phone, like the recording. And she's so happy, right? And he goes, wow, it's so fast, isn't it? She's like, I know, I thought the same thing. Like, she's like so excited. Yeah. And she's like, it's like a bumblebee's heartbeat, right? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, it is. And then she drops the phone, and it breaks. And she loses her mind, obviously. Yeah. She's like, oh, shit, Ash. She starts crying. And Sam, everyone in the hospital, everyone at this doctor is like, yeah. Because it's just her phone. But she is like, you think someone died. Like she dropped her baby. Yeah. Ash. And so she runs home, and she puts the phone on this tablet screen, and like the phone like loads up, and then it like another phone's like another phone. Like she kind of like has a backup or whatever, and it fixes it, and then she calls him back, and she's like, I'm so sorry, I dropped you. He's like, it's all right, it's fine. She goes, honey, she goes, he's like, I'm in the cloud. It's all right. I'm never going. I'm always here forever. Which is also scary. Yeah, that's kind of well, I'm gonna die one day.
Yeah, and also you're just stuck in the cloud like infinitely. Is that?
But you're a person. You're a conscious. Yo, Sam, this is a lot going on.
Yeah, you're gonna be trapped.
And then she starts realizing what happened. She goes, oh my God, I'm so stupid. I knew all that. And she was like, I was so worried about the heartbeat sound and that you wouldn't have heard. And he goes, don't worry, I have it recorded already. Listen, and he plays it back for her. Like he records everything they're doing. Yeah. And then she's like, it's fine, it's all right. I'm not going anywhere. And then and she's like, she kind of calms down and it's quiet. And then he goes, I wanted to talk to you about something. There's another level to this. And she kind of looks at the phone, like it's on speakerphone. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. And she goes, really? And he goes, it's experimental and it's not cheap. And her eyes get real big, and she goes, what is it? Like, yeah. You can tell she's gone. Like, that's why I'm like, oh no, Sam, I might do this. Yeah. Or I might be like, can I get you here? Yeah. I don't give a fuck about fuck everything. Delivery guy shows up the next day, and these two dudes delivering this huge pack, and they're like, what you got in here, man? But you like 2 refrigerators, right? Because it's clearly it's not that big, but they're struggling carrying it. Yeah. And then she tells them put it upstairs. They take it upstairs to the bathroom. She opens it upstairs, and it's all these body parts, like individually wrapped up, like in like wrapping, And she's like, oh my God! And Ash is on speaker, and he's like, can I see it? And she puts it on the FaceTime, and he's like, wow, was never much of a looker, was I? And she goes, it doesn't look like you yet. They said it's blank till you activate it. He goes, oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. He says that to her. She says, you're not much, And then she says that. And then he goes, well, get the bath ready. And then she's like touching the skin and not believing, like, oh my, like, what the fuck? And he's like, Ma, get the bath ready. And she's like, okay. And she gets the bath ready. She puts them all together, and she puts them in the tub, right? And then she's like, what is this? It's not water. She's like, it's like not water. It's like goop. So she's like, it's apparently some nutrient gel. And he tells her, he's like, and make sure the body doesn't dry out. And he's like, don't forget the electrolytes. And then she opens this package and pours all this powder in there, and you hear him start sizzling. And she goes, all right, cut the light off. Better leave me to it. And she walks outside, and he goes, all right, I'm gonna have to go in a minute. She goes, no, don't leave me here by itself, please, please, please. He goes, it's okay, it's starting. Just remember, don't switch the bathroom light on. She goes, wait, don't. He goes, I gotta, and then he hangs up. And she's like, because obviously he's uploading.
Yeah.
Whatever he is uploading into this thing.
Yeah.
Right? So she listens outside the door. She's all nervous. Then she goes back downstairs. She's just waiting, all scared. And then finally she hears something. And she heads up slowly, and you see these feet coming downstairs like dripping water.
Yeah.
And they meet at the stairwell. She looks up, and it's her Ash. It's him.
Whoa.
And she's just like,
that seems wrong.
babe, this is too much.
It was already wrong, but somehow it's wronger with him having a physical body.
And not only that, but he has the same kind of personality. He's like standing there like he's embarrassed,
Yeah.
like he's holding his parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, you could have left me some clothes. Talk about an undignified entrance, right? And she's like, it's saying you standing there naked would fuck me, but you say like if you stand there, you like schmoopty poop. I'd have been like,
I said schmoopty poop. I would say schmoopty poop.
bruh, you could imagine where I'm at.
Yeah, that would mess you up.
And you're like covering your boot, like you know what I mean. You're like, because now I'm like, it's her.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be? That's you. And he's like, can I get a towel? I'm dripping. And then she's staring at him, right? Cut to he's got like clothes on now. And they're both sitting on the couch. And they're sitting like this. But all right, if I'm him, she's you. Sam, you basically would be sitting your butt on that. You're like, your butt on that. Like, you know what I mean? Like just looking at me like, not trusting me, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's like, you tell he's kind of nervous and they're just staring at each other. And then he goes, you can sit here. I don't bite. And she goes, I'm okay here. And she's just looking at him like, right? And then he's staring. Then he goes, you want me to put some food on? And she goes, you eat? He goes, no, but I can chew and swallow if that makes everything easier for you. And she goes, no, don't worry about it. She's like, I need a drink. And she goes up and she pours a drink. And then you tell he gets nervous because she knows she's pregnant. And he's like, official advice would say that. And she goes, fuck official advice. It's one drink. I need it. Which I'm on her side of like, hey, this is a lot, bro.
Yeah.
And she drinks, like, chugs the wine. And then she looks at him. And she's like, whoa, you look like him. On a good day, you look like him. Like on his, like a really good day of his, too. And she walks up slow and she rubs his face. And she's like, oh, you're so soft, so smooth. And he's like, touch my fingertips. He's like, they put some kind of shit like in my fingertips to make it like go. And it's like vibrating, right? And she touches it and she's like, oh. And he goes, he goes, does it bother you? And she goes, no. I mean, yes. I don't know. I miss you. And she, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Sam,
man, that's so messed up.
I told you this episode ain't like the other ones. This one's more like a little more heart instead of like physical violence or weird brain. Like this one's more like, damn, love's just hard.
This is too much.
So she's kissing him super hard. And she sits him down and she takes her top off. Right? She's huge tits. She's like, come on. She looks at him. He's just sitting there, right? He doesn't know what to do. And she's like, take yours off. And he takes his off. And they're staring at each other. And he goes, what's wrong? And she's like, you had a mole there. She points like at his chest. And he goes, where? And she's like, right here. She touches him. And he goes, oh. And he just makes a mole appear.
Huh.
And she's like, that's completely stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like that's crazy, right? And then she takes his hand and she like gets excited, right? And she puts it on her breast. And he just is like this. He's not real, Sam.
Yeah.
And she's like, hello. And he goes, hello. She goes, your hand's on my tit. And then he's like, oh. And he takes it off. And she goes, oh, no. And she puts it back on, right? Like, no, you know? And he's like, oh. He goes, I'm sorry, but there's no record of my sexual responses. I didn't discuss that kind of thing online. And then she's like, oh, but, I mean, you do have them, right? I mean, this works. And then she grabs his dick. And then he's like, oh, that. I mean, I can turn it on and off if you like. See? And then he turns it on and she's like, and then she leans in slow and she starts kissing him. All right? Cut to, he's fucking the shit out of her.
Okay.
She's like, oh God, oh shit. And he goes, should I stop? Like, he's calm, right? She goes, no, it's so good. Where'd you learn this? And he goes, I set the routine based on certain pornographic videos that I saw. Cut to them like fucking for hours in crazy positions.
Whoa.
Like things he was clearly not doing to her.
Yeah.
And she's just like, she's like, I love you, right? Cut to the next morning, they wake up. I'm just saying, you're like, bro, this is getting heavy, right? Next morning, they wake up. He's just laying, he's a robot though. He's just laying there like this.
Yeah.
And she's, he goes, I'm sorry, what's wrong? She goes, your eyes are open. It scared me. And then he goes, you prefer I close them? And she goes, yes. He goes, I'm sorry, I don't need to sleep. She goes, well, just try next time. And then he like closes his eye, like she does, like he closes them and they kind of fall back asleep. Cut to her later. She's working on stuff. He comes up and he's like, can I get you anything? And it kind of scares her. Like she forgets that he's there. And she goes, no. Coffee, sandwich? She goes, no, Ash. And she goes, it's just a bit odd still that you're here. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. She goes, no, it's not your fault. I just have to get used to it. She goes, and I drank last night. Next time, please stop me. He goes, oh, so you're giving me permission to be a bastard then? And then she's like, she laughs. Like, that's what he would say, right? And then her sister pulls up. She sees her sister pull up in the driveway. She's like, get in the bedroom. And she throws him in the bedroom. She goes and she answers the door. And the sister's like, can I come in? She's like, of course. And they hug. She's like, look at you. The town mouse is now the country mouse. And they laugh. And she tells her, like, you haven't been answering my calls and messages. I got worried, sis. You know? And she's like, no, I'm fine. She goes, I know. I got scared. I know, this is hard. And she's like, no, work's just been mad and everything's okay. I just kind of got to keep my mind off everything. So it's been fine. She goes, okay, good. She goes, can I use the toilet? She goes, yeah, upstairs. She runs up, she uses the toilet. Later, she's leaving. You can tell they hung for a while. She's leaving that night. And then she's like, well, let's meet up soon, all right? And keep in touch with me. I'm worried about you. She goes, I know. And then they hug, and she goes, also, I think it's great you're moving on. What? What'd you say? She goes, I'm sorry. It's just, there was a man's clothes in the bathroom. She goes, oh, yeah, right. She goes, well, is he nice? And her eyes get big. And she's like, sorry, big nose. You know me, just your sister. Hey, honey, you deserve whatever you want, okay? Whatever you want. And then she's like she almost starts, like, yeah. You know what I mean? And then the sister just hugs her, like gives her a kiss. I love you. And she leaves. Like, you can sister, like, I'm not even you clearly don't want to talk about it. It's okay. Like, that was the energy. But also, she's
oh my God.
I can't tell you what I'm doing because, like, I'm freaking out.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
In this house right now. And I cannot even tell you.
Oh my God.
Would you tell your brothers that you had me upstairs?
No.
If they came to visit
I'd be
you?
so embarrassed. Because I feel so crazy.
I'd feel crazy too, yeah. I wouldn't know if I'd tell my brother either.
Also, I'd feel like I'd kind of desecrated you in a way.
Yeah.
I would have a lot of shame about doing this. Like, I was sort of like fucking a dead body sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just sort of knowing that you're dead, even though it's not your physical body, it is like, it feels wrong.
It's not your conscience, but it's like, man, it's a lot of you.
Yeah.
It's like, now this isn't like 100%. You know what it is? Remember when Vision comes back in WandaVision?
Yes.
And it's not really Vision, but it's Vision. He has all the memories
it's just
of Vision.
like that. It's
like
exactly
that.
like that.
So it's like, but say, even though I have this robot will have all the memories of Deric and all the things you know about me and all the things you can tell him about me and all the things my family can tell him about me, he's still not me. It's a robot playing me. He'll never be me. He'll be whatever that robot is. So that shit's fucking crazy. So she goes back inside and Ash is like, is everything okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. And then Ash goes, what did your friend say? And she's like, you see the first time she kind of gets mad. She's like, that's my sister. You know her. Like, you see it's kind of clicking, like, you're not him.
Yeah.
You know? And she looks at him, she goes, my sister told me that she was happy I moved on. And then he goes, moved on to what? And she's like, and he's like, is that not the sort of thing I would say? And she goes, yes it is. And then she's so mad she drops the glass. And then they both go to clean it up. And she's like, I can do it. And he's like, no. She's like, I can do it. And she kind of pushes him off. And he falls on the glass.
Oh.
And then he lifts up and there's a huge piece of glass stuck in his hand. And he just pulls it out and there's no blood. And, and she's like, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't right. You can see she's like, this isn't right. This is not my husband. No. You know? And they're laying in bed that night. And he's like, got his eyes closed. And then she's sitting there and she's so mad. And she goes, if you're going to pretend to be asleep, can you at least pretend to breathe? It's eerie, you're just sitting there. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. Like this? And she's like, oh, it doesn't work. I can tell you're faking it. And he goes, I'm sorry. Do you want me to have sex with you? And she goes, go downstairs. Right? She said, and he goes, okay. And he gets up and he leaves. And she goes, no. And then he's like, what? She goes, Ash would argue over that. He wouldn't just leave, okay? And he goes, oh, okay. And then he comes and he lays back in bed. And she goes, no fucking hell. Oh, my God. She starts bawling, right? And he goes, don't cry. And he's like, she's like, get out, get out, get out, get out. And then he goes, and he stops and he goes, are you sure you want me to get out? And she's like, get out. You're not enough of him. And she starts hitting him. You're nothing. You're not enough of him. You're not. And then he's just standing there looking at her, no emotion. And she's like, fight me. And he hits him. She's like, fight me, hit me. You're just standing there. Come on. He wouldn't take this. And then he's like, he just looks at her. He goes, did I ever hit you? And she goes, no. But you might have if I done this. And she hits him like, she's just like, you're not him. I don't know how, because I understand her. It's like, I don't know how he would act if I hit him. But nigga, he wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I'm pissed about. And she's hitting him. And then he goes, I can insult you if you'd like. There's plenty in the archive. She goes, get the fuck out of my house. And then he just leaves and walks into the darkness. Next morning, she wakes up. She stands up and she goes, she looks out the window. And he's just standing out the window looking the other way. Like he's standing outside, like at the gate, just like face that way. And then he finally turns and she's like, what are you doing? And he's got this, he's still Ash, right? So he's still sweet. He's like, I can't go past 25 yards on my activation point. Says I have to keep 25 meters within the radius unless my administrator is with me. She goes, is that what I am? Your administrator? He goes, well, technically. And he's like, well, can I come back inside? I feel a little bit like an ornament out here. And then she's like, because bro, she's fucked us because it's him, Sam. He's saying because it's not him, but he's doing these little things where you're like, yeah, that's my fucking baby right there. Yeah. And she lets him back in. She comes down and she sees him looking remember that young picture of himself? He's looking at it and he's laughing. And he's like, this is funny. And she goes, put that down. He's like, but it is funny. She goes, put it down. Come with me. We're going out. They get in the car. They leave. She plays that song, How Deep Is Your Love? And she looks at him and he goes, this is cheesy. And she's like, you can tell she's like, yeah, it's not him. This is not him. They walk to the countryside, right? That same beautiful hill. And he's like, where are we going? She's like, just hurry up. She takes him to the cliff. Remember that big cliff from earlier? It's huge. And they're looking over it. And he's like, and he looks at her and he smiles and then he yells, no, don't do it. And he laughs. And you see, she's not laughing. And he's like, seriously, honey, don't do it. And she's like, oh, I'm not going to. And then he's sitting there, he's like quiet, and then she goes, see, Ash would have figured out what's going on by now. He would have. And then he's like, I'm sorry, but that's a very difficult sentence to process. Right? Like he doesn't get what and she goes, jump. And he goes, I'm sorry, but I've never expressed have I ever expressed suicidal thoughts or self-harm? And then she, because I don't believe I have. And she goes, well, you aren't you. There's no history of you. You're a performance of him. And then he goes, honey, come on. I aim to please you. And she goes, aim to jump. And he's like, okay, if you're sure. And then he turns and he's about to jump. And she goes, see? No! Ash would have been scared. He would have been crying. He would have begged for his life. He's a human. Do you understand? And then he goes, oh. And he goes, oh. Oh, God, no. Please don't make me do this. And I'm frightened, darling. I don't want to die. Seriously, I don't want to die. And she goes, no, that's not fair. Don't do that. And he's like, no, please don't kill me, please. And she goes, no, that's not fair. And he's like, please. And she's like, no. Fade to black. Come back to Sam. We're back on the farm. The daughter's born, and she's like 8 now.
Oh, my God. It's been that long?
It's been that long. She's got a different hairstyle. It's her daughter's birthday. They're cutting the cake. And the daughter goes, we need another slice, though, Mom, so I can take it upstairs. And no. The mom goes, it's not the weekend, honey. And she goes, yes, but it's my birthday. And then she's like, all right. Opens the attic stairs. The ladder comes down. You see the daughter run upstairs with the cake. Ash, I know you don't eat anything. She goes, Ash. And he goes, hey, birthday girl. And she goes, I was hoping I could hang with you for a bit. And he's sitting there just looking out the window, and he goes, I wasn't doing anything. He's just standing there doing nothing. Yeah. That's what he's doing. He's a robot, Sam. Yeah. And then she goes, I know you don't eat anything, but I'm using you as an excuse for an extra slice. And she goes, Mom, Mom, come on. And you see the mom downstairs holding the ladder. Sam, just as heartbroken as she was 8 years ago. She's like this. She looks up and then she starts climbing.
Yeah.
Black Mirror.
Wait, why would she leave him in the attic? I don't understand.
She can't kill him. She loves him too much, Sam. It's kind of him. She let it get too far.
I guess she did, yeah. Oh, gross.
She made love to this nigga, dog.
Now she hates him, though. She's like a prisoner to him.
Yo, it's Black Mirror, Sam.
Oh, Deric, that would be awful. And you never get to move on.
No, she never gets to move on. Also, you don't realize the kind of fucking drama you're doing to your little daughter. She won't know that till way later.
Oh my God.
How do you feel about the episode?
I didn't like it.
What? It was actually a really good one, I thought.
I mean, it was good, but I feel the way I feel about all Black Mirrors.
They never. Who's your favorite character?
Ash.
I like Ash. It's not his fault.
It's not his fault. He's dead.
And you know what's funny? It's not her. I don't blame her.
No,
for
it's the
losing
friend's
her mind.
fault for suggesting.
It's the fucking, and not even suggesting, signing me up.
Oh yeah, like forcing it on me.
Because now, of course, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'd have never signed up, so it had never been a problem. You signing me up, right? I feel like you did kind of. Did she force it on her?
Yeah, I wish that friend had shown up and like had seen the repercussions
of what you did.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to talk to that friend and be like, "How did you get out of it?"
Yeah.
You said your husband Mark died. I know that. I'm your friend, right? So I would know your husband Mark died. So is Mark just somewhere hidden in your house too?
And also, the AI's got to be programmed to like get you to go to that next level because it costs money.
Yeah.
So.
That's the scam of it too.
Yeah, but they've got you now.
They got you
because it's your loved one, Deric. If you're telling me you want a body, and I'm in love with you, and I want to bring you back, of course I'm paying the money to give you a body.
It's so much money, Sam, and you're paying it forever because like you'd have to pay the kids. It's not like it's a one fee.
Oh yeah,
thing.
it's like an iPhone.
It'd be a monthly.
Every
yeah.
2 years, we'd like
you'd
die, and you need
and you'd
a
have
new.
to upgrade it and all this shit.
And then they'd be like, "Oh, your cloud is full. Do you want to pay for monthly?"
They would do that. They'd be like, his memory is all because he has all these memories now.
And then I would be like, "I can't afford the monthly. I'm gonna delete some of these memories to make room.
I gotta delete some memories of yours." And it's like, yo, now if I'm deleting your memories, why am I keeping you alive? What am I doing? I'm so mad at my friend for getting me involved in this shit. Oh, I'm so mad at my fucking friend. I'm like, bro, how the fuck did you get me involved in this, bro? Oh my fucking God.
Oh, what's wrong?
I'll just see where we were. That was fun though.
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was kind of horrifying. Why would you pick something so close to home?
I thought that's why I picked it. I was like, yo, this episode, I know she hasn't seen it. A, and B, this one is like, she's gonna feel this shit.
I didn't like it. It made me feel things.
No one ever
I don't
does.
want to feel.
Bean Mafia, come see your boy November 5th this week, Saturday, Austin, Texas, at the Vulcan Gas Company. Another solid comedy with Hassan Ahmad. Also, if you can't come to that one, November 25th, the day after Thanksgiving, Friday, I'll be at Vulcan Gas Company with Sam Lopez. Solid comedy show. Hassan won't be there, but me and Sam will be there. We'll have special guests at both of them. If you guys are free, come on out, man. And then December, we have one December, I believe. Let me look. Because if anybody wants to plan to come to one, I don't want them to miss out. December 17th, we have another solid January 20th and another solid February 18th. So
it's happening.
Bean Mafia, we have them every month. Plan to come out. Set your dates, set your calendars. Come out, support me and Hassan. We love you guys. Come see Hassan headlining December 29th at Cap City Comedy Club. Go see her, support our main man. Guys, follow Happy Canary Weed. Happy Canary, best weed in the world from Maine. Shout out my boy Hayden. Follow them on social media. It's the best. I'm so excited for them and everything they're doing. They're gonna blow up and be a major weed conglomerate one day. So I'm very proud of my man. Follow the Raw Room podcast. Shout out my boy Darren Bates, one of my best friends, one of the best NFL players of all time, in my fucking opinion. And he's got one of the best podcasts in the world. Raw Room. Go listen to the episodes. I've been on it. Go subscribe. Go check it out. And guys, follow Sam Lopez. She's the queen of the universe and the queen of the Andels and the first of her name.
End of the first man.
End of the first men.
I'm queen of the first man. Never forget the first man.
We'll see you in a couple of days, B Mafia. We are out. We love you.
We out.